John says, hey guys, a couple of years ago, I watched a webinar with you and Lisa Allen about using RankFeedr for co-citation. Is using RankFeedr for co-citation still worthwhile for local SEO now? Yeah, it is. Or is the local prominence plugin good enough? Well, the local prominence plugin and RankFeedr in co-citation are, two different things. That's apples and oranges. Yes, they're both valid. Local prominence is about creating, geo posts or locally relevant pages or posts on a site to help to create local relevance, right? So that's about publishing content on the site. Typically, like you kind of orphan those pages. They're still internal links, but they're not like pages or posts that you would want showing up in your navigation menu or, that kind of stuff, because they're not really topically relevant. It's about adding local relevance, right? And so if you go to the, local prominence plugin landing page, their sales page, you can scroll down and see they've got a few videos on there that talk about, how to use those posts. And I've tested that across several domains, and it definitely helps. But that's a different strategy than what we're talking about with RankFeedr and Lisa Allen's product. That again, I'd like to use that on the ID pages. It's because you can take that RankFeedr feed, which is where you find topically and local relevant RSS feeds, right? So it's hard to find both, right? That one RSS feed that is both topically and locally relevant. I guess it depends on what industry you're in. But what I do is find topically relevant RSS feeds, and then I also find locally relevant RSS feeds. So government websites, event websites, local event websites and things like that, the ones that have feeds, local municipality websites. So, city and county government sites, those are also good. They typically have some sort of RSS feeds that you can find. And then I'll find topically, like for me, for tree services, there's a number of blogs that I'll use, like, I don't know, there's the TCIA, which is Tree Care Industry Association.org. There's several different sites that I use for topical relevance. Anyways, I'll grab those RSS feeds and I kind of put them all into this RankFeedr, and it creates these super feeds, these splice feeds that you can also insert static items. So single URLs. That's where you would insert your location landing page, Google business website URL. You can actually get Google an RSS feed from your Google business profile. Some of the post schedulers do that. I use OneUp app, and you can get an RSS feed from that. So that's, you can submit every time you publish a post, it actually updates that feed, that super feed, along with all of those other topically and locally relevant, items in the feed. But you can put sticky items in there, which are static URLs that are always going to appear in the feed. And you can have it randomized where they appear so that it's not always like at the top and all that kind of stuff. And those are good for, again, embedding into an ID page. The bots come crawl the ID page often. It's an iframe loop, right? It's that mirror and mirror, like never ending thing. And so that's a good place to put it. The way you do it is go to FeedBurner. FeedBurner is still a thing, but if you go to feedburner.com, you can actually take the RSS feed from RankFeedr and you can burn a FeedBurner feed out of it. And then you go enable the Buzz Boost option, and that gives you an HTML embed code for the FeedBurner feed. Does that make sense? So you can now take that embed code and embed that into the ID page, and that's automatic dynamic content. So it's going to get the bots to come crawl that ID page often. It's other people's content that's topically relevant, locally relevant, and it just causes these signals. And that's where I've found some pretty good success with it. And I know some of the members that I'd used that had picked up her tool have talked about they've seen some pretty good results with that as well. I'll be honest, I don't use it as much as I should anymore. I know it still works though, but yeah, it's still valid. But those two things are different. Different tools are not, they do different things, if that makes sense. So it's still a good tool. It's purely an SEO tool with the RankFeedr thing. It's not like RSS Master technology, which is much more of a marketing tool. RankFeedr is strictly an SEO tool. So, but it works. Okay. Oh, by the way, it's interesting, in some really low competition areas, the RSS feed that it creates two from RankFeedr. It creates two feeds. Like one is like a standard RSS feed, and another one's an HTML page, and that HTML page will rank. It's crazy because I've got this one really low competition tree service area, And you know, if I do a brand search for that area, then that location, that RankFeedr feed always pops. It's always on page one, which is interesting because it's just a collection of links. It's just a feed, right? So